Hello everyone. Welcome to Loki Funday. I am Advocate Parul Singh. Hope you all are safe and staying home. So as we all know that whole world is dealing with this pandemic of coronavirus also known as COVID-19. As of now, when I am making this video, the number of COVID-19 positive cases have increased to 3,175,207 and death tolls have reached to 224,172 globally. Talking about situation in India, the number of COVID-19 positive cases has reached to 37,336 and number of death tolls have reached to 1,218 and is increasing day by day. Government of every country is taking necessary measures to control the spread of coronavirus. But after knowing these figures, it's clear that we all are going through difficult times. And the only way to keep ourselves safe is to maintain the norms of social distance. As I was getting many texts, calls, and emails regarding the impact of this pandemic COVID-19 on fundamental rights, so today here I will be discussing on the virus, the lockdown, and fundamental rights. So here we go. The beginning and perhaps the most substantial challenge to the lockdown from the perspective of fundamental rights has been levied by those who believe that lockdown imposed by the central government under a notification dated 24th March 2020 has no constitutional protection and it affected the citizens' right to movement under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause D and the right to freely practice one's business or trade under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause D. Now talking about notification which was issued by central government under the Disaster Management Act after classifying the COVID outbreak to be a disaster as provided under the act. The restrictions were fundamentally made on the movement of people except those who had been exempted under the notification itself, such as healthcare workers, doctors, policemen, and other critical government servants. Moreover, the industries that were shut down excluded those involved in manufacturing essential commodities. Now, whenever we talk about Article 19, it must be noted that it comes with reasonable restrictions. And in current situation, when it's said it violated right to move freely and free trade, we should not forget reasonable restrictions as provided for them under Article 19 Clause 5 and Article 19 Clause 6 itself, which made it quite obvious to check the rampant spread of a virulent pandemic and to safeguard the public. Though the reasonableness of these restrictions have not been judicially tested, but they appear to be at first instance a restriction born out of the interest in general public, keeping in line with the directives of World Health Organization with respect to social distancing norms. Social distancing norms and a ban on public gathering have become a global norm. Now, talking about Invocation of Epidemic Diseases Act, several states have invoked the provisions of ED Act and have issued guidelines. For instance, guidelines issued by state of Maharashtra on 14th March 2020 with respect to preventing mass social gatherings, isolating those showing symptoms of the virus, prohibiting vehicular traffic and movement in COVID hotspots, etc. As part of aforesaid guidelines, the state government have also banned the dissemination of information relating to COVID on social media without ascertaining the accurate facts from the state government and without the prior clearance of the Commissioner of Health Services. Now, this has also come under scrutiny from certain quarters as being a major violative of the right to free speech and expression guaranteed under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause A. But it must be taken into consideration that scandalous and mischievous information, especially during the times of pandemic with respect to number of deaths, the COVID hotspots, etc., if unverified and malicious, has the potential to cause large-scale disturbances to public order. Therefore, the said restrictions is a reasonable restriction. Now talking about curfew under section 144 of Criminal Procedure Code. Apart from the above, which I have already discussed, state governments are also invoking the provisions of Section 144 of the CRPC, ensuring that social distancing norms are strictly followed and have passed innumerable orders throughout the country. Such orders have not come to be challenged, as the motivating factor to issue them was to ensure social distancing practices. Another issue is regarding right to privacy concern. Some states such as Karnataka, Delhi and Maharashtra have resorted to applying an ink stamp on those who have been quarantined due to worries that they may have contracted COVID, and some states have also published the details of those infected with the virus on the internet. Tamil Nadu has organized home quarantine stamps to be affixed on the doors of certain persons with travel history to countries or locations which have a high incidence of the disease. These have raised queries with regards to whether these measures violate the right to privacy as delineated in Puttaswamy's judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court. Now, here it is to be noted that right to privacy is not absolute. It owes its foundations in personal liberty, and in that, the great human right of dignity, which resonates in all aspects of life, privacy was acknowledged as a core component, without which the free exercise of any of the fundamental rights would become useless. However, the right, like all other rights, are subject to reasonable restrictions. Not everybody can be kept informed of a household being under quarantine because the milk vendor, the newspaper delivery person, vegetable sellers, etc., are all persons who are mainstreams of society and may be unaware of developments in many households where they are frequent on a daily basis. It would be harmful if these vendors are allowed to enter these homes or interact with those who are quarantined during the quarantine period. It is to safeguard the larger social interest and putting these liberties to a temporary backseat. Now the question arises is our fundamental rights suspended? The enforcement of fundamental rights themselves have not been suspended, as in case of an emergency. Therefore, the road not taken under Part 18 of the Constitution ensures that the fundamental rights chapter remains justiciable throughout the lockdown period. Keeping in mind the clear dictum of the Honorable Supreme Court of India in Anita Kushwaha's case with regard to the importance of the right to access justice, various courts, including the Supreme Court of India, has been working and hearing matters through e-conferencing in furtherance of the circular dated 23rd March 2020. The Honorable Apex Court, in the case of A. A. Srivastava versus Union of India, passed orders monitoring the state of migrant workers during the COVID pandemic through an order dated 31st March 2020. The Honorable High Court of Madras has been working, hearing urgent matters and passing orders throughout the lockdown period. Guidelines for e-filing have been notified by the Honorable Court of Madras. This present situation is a rarity. The anxiety, the fear psychosis, and the legitimate worries of the migrant workers and wage earners has never been seen before, at least over the last 6 or 7 decades. What must be remembered, however, is that every right in Part 3 of the Constitution is subordinate to the right to life, which is the most vital of them all. It is this right that is challenged by the COVID-19 virus, and it is to protect this right that various measures have been taken by the governments of the world. Now, this does not mean that any or all prohibitions passed by the state under the Epidemic Diseases Act and Disaster Management Act are automatically constitutional. The test for evaluating conflicting fundamental rights and to ascertain the degree of reasonableness of a restriction will be to follow the constitutional barometer of proportionality that requires that all state actions meet the quadruple test of legality, rationality, necessity, and strict proportionality. No action must be warranted beyond whatever degree that is strictly necessary to ensure public order and health, and any action over and above the minimum threshold level of restriction will fall out to be declared unconstitutional. In the light of the overarching public and medical threat, And in order to sustain the vital force of Article 21, which article is the single most important jewel in the constitutional scheme, certain liberties will have to remain dormant. That is the trade off we make as a society and as a nation to ensure all of us are alive when this great medical emergency passes. So, we as a responsible citizens must follow the guidelines issued by government in order to protect ourselves and our near and dear ones and play our role to make India corona free. I hope this video was useful. So please do like, comment and subscribe. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.